Hey guys, this is Gaspar Tape, and today you join me for episode 8 of Collaborative Warfare, and today we have some grave news from the front. We have lost the KSC-2 to the perfidious Penguin, and he's also set about destroying many more of my defences again, so we are very weakened once again, but we will strike back with furious anger, and well, I think he's trying to keep me away from Twitchi, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, our first thing to do will be take back the KSC-2 and then on to his bases to really wreak some death. So yeah, I will just hand you over to past me. Okay, so our first act of very unrandom, totally justified violence today is going to be with the Banshee Mk1. Yes, this is my newest plane. It is a tactical bomber, basically, which means it's, well, highly maneuverable. Basically, Penguin's been able to deal a lot of death with his tactical bombers, so I decided I'd build a highly maneuverable one. Anyway, I'm just going to get this in the air as per, so that I can talk and move at the same time. Yeah, so this is going to be, well, the first thing I'm doing is taking back KSC-2. I'm not having any of that shit. I mean, I do have another launch site in the Arctic, and actually another one right near it in the desert, but the KSC-2 is a very important site. It's, you know, it means something to our people, for glory! Just waiting for this to pull up. It has a weirdly, well, a pretty high takeoff velocity when it's going incredibly fast. So yeah, what have I targeted? Well, I'd rather target the defense. Well, fine, we'll target that for now. Alright, I'll target this flag and then we'll head over there. Pretty similar to my other planes in terms of how you fly it. You go very high and then very fast and then drop out. Alright, it's also incredibly maneuverable. I know that for a fact that the Penguin Empire's tactical bombers aren't particularly maneuverable from my own experience. However, I have actually tested this, and it can not outdo, but it can compete with some of even my fighters. I'm not sure how it would do against the Grasshopper, but yeah, so it can technically also be a ground defense. This is the ultimate multi-role, and I know people are like, well, multi-roles are good, okay at everything, but good at nothing, and yeah, that's absolutely true. I think multi-roles aren't a brilliant idea, but actually, it's best to have something that can dodge, so that's what this is. It's carrying just a shit ton of missiles. It's carrying, how many have we got here? We've got Hellfires, 6 groups of 3. Someone do the maths. I'm too focusing to do the maths, but well, that's 36, right? Yeah, okay. That was, yeah, 36. And then in the cargo bay it has 3 Mavericks. Those were originally bombs, but bombs are dumb. Use missiles. I will be offloading my Mavericks onto the Cerberus, however, from our satellite imagery, it has a flak cannon, which makes it incredibly good at shooting down missiles, so we'll also be unloading 6 Hellfires. But anyway, it was a very long flight, so I will do my usual thing of going into post-commentary and just putting it into 4 times time accelerate, but you will see the whole flight over to the KSC-2, where we will strike back against the perfidious Penguin. I'm just going to keep calling him the perfidious Penguin, because alliteration, also he's very perfidious and a penguin. So yeah, also our propaganda campaign to have the bearded penguin named Tape failed, and I've forgotten what he was actually called, but you tried hard, young warriors. But anyway, on the way over, I was pretty much just explaining about how my military structure works and how we're well, I've been called a warlord by Agonart, which I quite like, so I think I'm a warlord with a bunch of war bands in various places. At this point, I was trying to turn off the shaders because the lag was kind of annoying, but I can't, so yeah, a bit of a shame, but I'll probably just turn off the, like, burning shaders, because you've all seen them, and they're just kind of slow down the game a bit, which isn't that bad with this craft, but with bigger stuff it's kind of annoying, like when I steal Penguin's crafts. I was going to actually go and steal a Penguin's craft again, but it's really far down south, and, well, I could get there, but it's protected by Poseidon, which is Penguin's big missile sub, which I don't really want to fight, because it's, like, covered in missiles, and I forgot to action group the flares on this, which you will see later, which went kind of terribly. But yeah, you can see this is just a stupidly fast plane. It's going, I can't see the speed, because, you know, post-production and things, but it's, like, super speedy. It's, like, the fastest plane ever. It doesn't have air brakes, but you can use the tailplane things as air brakes, because there's 2 of them, because it's awesome. But yeah, we're pretty much just gonna drop in now and, well, do a quick circle, because we want to
well, we want to come in on our own terms, on our own way, rather than coming in way too fast and being shot down. That'd be rather terrible. So yeah, we're just gonna pull into a turn, fly around the mountains, and then go in and destroy Penguin's new base defense, because they are indeed the new ones with the flak cannons and things. So yeah, we need to go and deal with that. I've forgotten the word, but we do need to deal with it. So yeah, but yeah, we've pretty much slowed down now, and I was just checking my load distance there, because we've changed the load distance and guard distance to like 10 kilometers now, so it's more, well, it's just more difficult to attack things. But anyway, I will be handing you over to past me for the attack.
Yeah, when did I actually... Ooh, this could go wrong. I don't actually remember the exact version of this plane I'm using. We do have a couple of pilots, hopefully not doomed to die. We've got, obviously, Laylee and Rodolin. Rodolin, the hero of her flight school. I feel like, no, actually they're not heroes, they're just standard pilots. I think we keep calling all of our pilots, like, the best. And that's just a lie. I mean, these guys are pretty good. They get the job done. They're on the military payroll. They do a job. They're not fighting for glory. They're in a war band. They're fighting for, you know, peace, a bit of safety, and some money. You know, that's what they're doing. Let's just not dance around a bit. They're fighting for just, I want to fight sort of things. They're not the best. They didn't go through the freaking flight school a year early. And some of them, I think they got mostly B's as well. Yeah, they're okay. They're good. They'll get the job done. They're great fighter pilots. Sadly, they're in a bomber, so yeah. So I think you know, they'll get the job done. Is what I'm trying to say. Do I have flares on this? Nope. Okay, this is an old version. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Oh, I didn't put flares! Yeah, this is a very slightly older version of the Banshee. Yeah. But, you know, equally good. Not equally good. Almost as good! It's almost the premium version. Alright, let's open up the cargo bay. 3 Mavericks. I know I'm not carrying a huge payload of weapons, but you know me. I'm more of a don't be a little bitch sort of guy. No, I just have a smaller plane, because I'm not compensating for my height. Anywho, alright, so which buttons fire? These are the kind of things you should check first, Peter, you stupid bastard! Alright, I think 2 is fire. If not, then I don't even know where the weapon manager is in the cargo bay. Well, the bomb bay. It's not a cargo bay. I've also been trying to figure out a reason for me to include that space shuttle I built, the stock one, into this. I guess if I put some missiles on it, it could be space shuttle / tactical bomber. Yeah, it just drops from all. Ooh, I mean that would be a terrible plane, but it would be cool. I mean, who's never wanted to see the space shuttle go fucking nuts? All right. Yeah, the not having flares might be an issue, especially because I'm about to attack a bunch of something with missiles. I feel like not a good move on my part, but I guess I really should check these things first. Unless I do have flares. Nope. Yes, I do, but the button's wrong. The button... Okay, well, I'll just keep that open then. I do have flares, they're just not tied to anything. Good job, me! Okay. I can still drop them. It's cool. Alright, we're almost in range. 10 kilometers where I can start firing. And I'm gonna. That's 10. We'll give it a little second. I want these to hit, obviously, so... Okay. Oh my god, what was that? Oh, that was it scanning. I thought that was it trying to calculate the explosion on my plane. Yeah, bitch! Mavericks! Ooh. Okay, I think, it's hard to say. Okay, that doesn't say I'm locked onto. Okay, it can't possibly shoot all of them down. I mean, I went... Oh god, oh god, oh god, fuck the cargo bay. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, this is real bad. Oh, that's real bad. Oh, ooh, almost flipped out. Oh my god, pull an evasive maneuver. But keep on the menu. No, I think I heard a hit, so that's good. As long as I can just miss all of these. Ooh. I hope I don't have to do too much. I can't see if there's missiles coming for me. There are. Yeah, I know I flare too much, but that's because I'm scared of dying. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh, don't die, don't die. Drop all of them. Drop all of the things. Oh, hell yeah. Bitch. How am I still locked onto? By what? I don't think I am. Although, I have no reason. Okay, I think I was actually flaring for no reason. Okay, so I think that's dead. Heavy chance. I hit it pretty hard. I did fire 3 Maverick missiles. That was OP, I have to say, but he took the KSE-2. This is the KSE-2, right?
Yes, indeed it is the KSE-2, but now we just need to go and land so that we can, you know, put our flag down and take it back and, you know, stave off the perfidious penguins' more invasions and things, because no doubt he'll keep trying to take this because, well, you know, he's crazy and evil. And, you know, basically a war criminal Nazi thing. Anyway, so it looks like there's actually 2 runways down there, one of which I will be hopefully landing on. And you can just see me flicking between things. There's some dead helicopter over there because Penguin actually launched a helicopter strike on me, which was super lame, but we nailed it. And then I think he took it with the Phobos, or no, drop pod, because he's a bastard and he has drop pods apparently that drop from space and take my stuff. Like, twice now. And he almost did it a 3rd time, but Agonarch, my wonderful ally, was gracious enough to just, you know, defend it for me. Anyway, I'm going to land on this thicker runway because, you know, I'm got a relatively newish, biggish plane, so it will be easier to land on a thicker runway because I'm terrible at aiming. Although this is a dream to land compared to the heavy assault planes, because they're like massive and stupid and kind of laggy, and I always land them at places with really loads of defenses. Anyway. So yeah, let's just put this down here. I'm not sure if I've mentioned already, but he also attacked a bunch of other bases. I think he attacked Edis' side, and he actually lost his plane, so victory. Anyway, yeah, so, yeah, at this point, Penguin's flag just disappeared. It was just nowhere to be found. So, he never had that. No, he did. There was a flag. It just randomly deleted itself. I think what's happening now is the flags are just kind of falling into the terrain. I had this happen earlier, where... like, this flag had fallen into the ocean and then just flew out, because I thought they were just, like, physicsless random stuff. Anyway, one second. Just having some coffee, because I have been, well, doing lots of things, so my throat kind of hurts from talking. Not from prostitution. So yeah, let's just get ourselves down this winding path. This is another reason I wanted to land here, just to have a little bit of a drive. But I left it sped up because I didn't think you'd be particularly interested in seeing me driving a long time. But yeah, really nice base. Not letting anybody take it. This is my freaking thing. And yeah, hopefully it'll continue to destroy his helicopters, and hopefully my other defenses will continue to destroy the evil penguin Demoses. Demoses? How do you... Because I know Phobos is like Phobos, but anyway, his planes, it'll keep fucking them up. Although he did take it, I think, with the, well, or hit it with the Phobos, because they're, I think, slightly lighter, because they're all about the base. Yeah, totally. Anyway, we're almost at this nice little bit where we can just park and, you know, have a coffee, get a pizza, steal some land. Yeah, we kind of wrecked this thing. It looks like in here there was loads of just things saying that he hated his subscribers. No, it was batteries. Anyway, okay, so that plane probably has enough fuel for everything I want it to do, but I totally don't trust that, so I'm just going to use the whole idea that we're allowed lots of probes, and well, there's, I think, multiple probe cores, and if it's just like a service vehicle, I think that's probably fine. I'm pretty sure that the plane did have enough fuel to go to where it wants to go, but I'm very cautious. So yeah, I didn't think you'd want to see me driving, but here we are, just putting some fuel in the thing. And then some missiles fell off, so I guess I got my comeuppance for using a fueling station. I don't know why I feel bad about using fueling cars. It feels like it kind of negates the need to make really long-range planes, but... Although this plane is super long range. Well, not as long range as my other planes, but, you know. Anyway, after refueling that, I'm just driving my little turret down this nice little road. I left this thing just because it's really quaint, driving through that little barrier and then just heading down onto the grass and, you know, just doing general war stuff. His probe is still about, but it's just a broken probe. Totally wrecked. I don't know how many of its missiles it shot down because, I was kind of dodging and not looking because I had to manually flare, which was dumb. Yeah, I will probably continue to drink coffee all throughout this video and be very unprofessional because, let's face it, you didn't come here to hear professionalism, did you? So yeah, I'm just going to put this up on that hill, I think, so that it has a good range. This is another one of my flak cannons, which will be shooting at things with flak, which is really good. Really good at taking down missiles as well, from my tests. I think Penguins was a little overwhelmed, but yeah, it should be good against most things. And Sidewinders, obviously. This is actually kind of a bit of an early prototype. You can see it's quite boxy and not very pretty and things. I actually have a much better one in the works, but you know, it takes time to develop these things. It really does take time. I've heard some of the other people saying, I haven't tried to land this yet. I was like, what? I do like literally hours of testing. I spend way too much time on it, just kind of testing and retesting and designing and improving, which doesn't always work out best. I mean, but all the others seem to have pretty good planes. I mean, I haven't really seen, I don't know how much testing they do, but I do a lot. I spend a lot of time on things. But anyway, that's all set up, so now we just need to go and put a flag down. A very long walk, because I couldn't be bothered to drive. So yeah, let's just throw down our territorial Arctic protection entente flag. And yes, I actually have my bear flag today, which is nice, because, you know, I hate not having my bear flag. Anyway, while running up here, I fell through the floor. Don't really know what happened there. I'm pretty sure glitches. Anyway, then climb on the plane and just get back in. And then after this, I had probably the worst crash ever. It was like too many heap stack sections or whatever, that kind of error. And then pretty much the game was totally dead, and I had spent a long time kind of redoing I had to create a new version of the game and put the quick save and a new save, and I don't know, it was kind of annoying, but it's actually a reasonably easy fix considering some of the stuff I saw was all like, you need to go into this weird bit of the computer that I didn't know existed and do loads of crazy stuff, and I did that and it did nothing, so you know, it was just a pretty simple fix. You just get the quick save. I think it was something broken in the persistent save, so I just got a new version of the game and put the save in because I have lots of versions, because I have lots of different mod sets, and it's kind of annoying to have to keep redoing everything. Even with CCAN, it's still kind of annoying. But CCAN does help. I do like that very much. Anyway, it's time to take off. Annoyingly, I'm not going to be using that lip because I wanted more runway. Hopefully it'll take off because I'm heading right for these barriers and then a mountain, so you know. It'll be fine. Yeah, there we go. Just get in the air and fly over here. I forgot where Twin Peaks Valley. Yeah, totally would have been able to get over there, but it's better to have more fuel, although it will neuter my maneuverability. So that's the main trade-off, I guess. But yeah, this is much smaller than other bombers people are using, like Penguin's tactical bomber. Well, bombers, he uses loads of them constantly, and it's mean, and he's evil. But yeah, his, I think, is super long range, but I have lots of long range aircraft. This is just for dropping lots of death in lots of places. Yeah, when I'm looking at this map, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, because originally, my plan was to take lots of, well, destroy lots of Penguins bases and take one of them and be like, yeah, I got this. But Agonarch has requested that I do something different, and we will. I'll discuss that in a little bit. But anyway, now it's just time to kind of power over here. You'll notice I didn't really have my engines on for that long. Basically, what I did here, because it was such a short distance, but I didn't want to like fly low in the atmosphere, I just kind of boosted myself up. Because in the low atmosphere, these are very inefficient. So I just kind of boosted myself up very inefficiently, and then just kind of let myself ballistically fall towards the base. And that was a pretty good attack strategy, and then I'm going to use my natural speed to come in for an attack now, just to save a little fuel and time. I usually slow down, then do the attack run, just because I like to have full control, but I thought this was actually a pretty decent idea. Annoyingly, I still will have to drop countermeasures manually, which will be super lame, because, you know, it's just an extra thing to do. But anyway,
let's consider my plan a little. Anyway, we're almost in range, so I should probably stop considering plans and start getting my engines a little spooled up for a little bit of dodging, because we're going to get hit relatively hard relatively soon. But luckily this is his standard one, his old drone that isn't like amazing, so I should be able to nail it with, fuck, we'll call it 3 just to balance me out. This is just convenience, Penguin. It's not even firing. There, now it is. Anyway, hope it has fun with them. Let's get the throttle up. Get the hammer down. Pull out of this. Drop a few countermeasures. Can't keep my finger on the thing. I flipped out. I'm going to die. I mean, that's a tactical maneuver. Tactical roll. Tactical roll. Tactical. I killed the thing, though, eh? Tactical roll. Countermeasures. Oh, my Christ. Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's real bad. Oh, that's real bad. Yep, that went poorly. But I nailed his defense. So, that was, yeah, okay, basically the reason that fucked up was, oh wow, that mountain got wrecked. Yeah, so basically the sad reason for that fucking up is I was doing too many things. I didn't properly action group my countermeasures and shit. Anyway, this is fucked, probably, mostly, 70%. So, we're just gonna drop in and fucking take this. This is the plan, and this plane is armed, actually. It's carrying 2 defense probes I'm going to drop, and 1 little landy probe for dropping into Penguin's base. I'm putting a Kerbal down there because it's totally undefended right now. However, well, rather annoying, well, not annoyingly, actually very tactically, Agonarch requested that I would launch an assault on Twitchi's base. That was actually something we had already kind of planned earlier. And that's kind of what I was going to try and do with that plane, if I could turn it around, but it didn't really work out. But I do have a plan for that. It's called Operation Helicopter Invasion. You won't be able to guess what that is, but yeah, no, it's Helicopter Invasion. So yeah, basically I think Penguin also really wanted to try and stop me from attacking Twitchy, but that shall not happen. So yeah, let's just drop our probes. I just skip through the flight. Very long flights with these. Also, I'm quite glad because I really didn't want to fly this all the way over to Twin Peaks Valley. That's like a super long flight, and this is a super slow plane. So yeah. Anyway, there goes the first probe. Now, that's actually, you'll notice that didn't hit the back of the plane like last time. It's because I started dropping them without parachutes and then deploying the parachutes later. You know, like, not a moron. Because I kept smashing my plane last time, which was kind of foolish. Anyway. After a lot of circling, and I mean a lot of circling, the probe finally touches down and we can set it up to, you know, defend from the perfidious penguin or the evil Twitchy, I guess. I don't really have a fun name for that. Terrible Twitchy. Perfidious penguin and terrible Twitchy. And amicable, something nice about it. I don't know. And totally awesome tape, because I'm very uninventive. Anyway. We'll just set up all our, you know, guide rangers. These are actually really hard to hit because they're tiny and they do have flares. So when missiles come in, they'll flare and it'll miss. And it's really hard to hit a tiny target that's popping flares. So they actually work quite well. They're not super effective at murder, but they're also pretty good at just kind of not getting shot so you can't take my base. Kind of a shitty move, I guess, but we're all using these now because people keep hitting so many bases. We need more than one way of defending it. But yeah, I would like to put down another turret today, but I have to, you know, launch Operation Attack of Ride of the Valkyries. That's the new name. Anyway, drop the second defense probe, and you can see there's a little pod in there which shall not be used today because, as I've said, you know, we've got Operation Iraqi Freedom. I'm just going to keep renaming it. Operation Kick the Hornet's Nest. Operation Anti-Communists. Anyway, let's... Ooh, I'm finding the communists. That really does perpetuate the whole Nazi thing. Oh well, anyway, this touches down for a lot more circling. I just cut through the circling, which might not be super obvious from my janky editing, but you'll live. Yeah, good at your job, Peter. Anyway, after another long flight and long quick save, we arrived back at Jebediah Sands. I did my standard line-up maneuver, and there's someone dragging something outside. Yeah, these actually, it takes probably just as long to line up as it does to fly over here, but I got a pretty good lineup. I mean, you can see it's quite actually hard to control, and the control surfaces on this are all messed up. Like, the tailplane does roll, so whenever I roll it throws me off, and one of the surfaces just doesn't work, so yeah, you can see 2 of the surfaces on the main wing just aren't moving because one of them doesn't work, so it always just induces a roll. It's a very problematic plane, actually. I'm starting to get kind of annoyed of it, but it's so useful to have a really big bomber. I mean, I haven't bombed anything with it, but it's just a bit of a good cargo plane. And, you know, very tactical unit. It would be nice to have kept that other bomber so I could build up a bit of an air force, but apparently that's just not in the cards because all my stuff keeps dying. But, you know, I have
I have plans, you know, we're just going to slowly try and keep as many planes as possible, because it really helps to have an inventory of planes. I just punched my table, that hurt like hell. But yeah, it really does help to have an inventory of planes, so that, you know, I mean, it showed that Penguin, I mean, he didn't have to, I think he's launched an air defense last turn, because he already had 2 planes ready to attack me, so that's good planning on his, and good stealing back, because I stole that plane. But yeah, it's just useful to have an inventory. Anyway, I think I'm actually not going to hit that thing of that big bit of the runway. I actually haven't hit that. Oh no, I did once in testing. Just hit the big drop bit. But I'm getting relatively good at like gliding to land. It's like relatively easy. 1 second. But yeah, this is all too cut off, isn't it? I'm sorry, I keep having to stop. I'm got lots of things going on. Anyway, we're coming over the runway now, and just, you know, putting ourselves down. I've actually missed quite a lot of runway, and these brakes actually totally suck. And yeah, it's pretty good landing. I actually forgot how nice that looked. I bounced a bit, but, you know, not terrible. I really should, basically, these wheels suck for braking, which, you know, is bad, because then things run off the runway. So what you really should do is turn up the brake torque, which I didn't discover until after what's about to happen, which kind of sucks. But yeah, it's also quite hard to land here. I like putting stuff here because it's super well defended, and you can see I'm doing the air brakes there. But yeah, it's super well defended, but that does mean it's quite laggy, and this is quite a big plane, and that big old cap on the back of the plane doesn't help, because although it's really good for stopping missiles, only small missiles, I think an AMRAAM would probably do it. But, you know, bullets as well. But yeah, you can see I'm going to run off the end of this runway. And all my brakes are in, like, all my surfaces are in, like, pull-down sort of thing. So, well, they're only like that because I want to slow down, but that's also going to pitch down when I go off the end of this runway. And yeah, you can see I just about clip. Oh yeah, there. Now it all falls off. Yeah, lose the back of my plane, which is fine because I'm done for today, and that's totally repairable. I mean, I've still got the majority of the plane, so I'd call that repairable, because if there's like small damage, you can fix it up, and you know, I've lost the tail. I'll just put that back on. I probably won't be using it next turn anyway, so I mean, we'll call it like a 2-turn hiatus for this damaged plane, but not a terrible landing considering the terribleness of the plane, which kind of sucks. But yeah, then I realised that you can just turn up the power of the brakes, which is just really annoying. But yeah, all in all, not a terrible mission, but now on to the next bit of this war of things and fighting communists and totally not being a Nazi, is my super new helicopter. Yeah, I actually haven't recorded any live commentary for this, because when I did it, I was tired, and actually at the end of my kind of crashing KSP tether. But yeah, this is I haven't really got a name for this yet, actually. I usually name things before I launch them, but this is just simply named Helicopter. I should probably think of a name for it. But yeah, basically I'm going to fly across the ocean. I was going to attack Black Crags, but basically Black Crags is very well defended, and this is a small little tiny helicopter. Which is it's pretty good though. It has very long range, well, for a helicopter, I think it's about 150 kilometers, which is pretty good for a helicopter, and it has a lot of ordnance. It's got 6 Hellfires, like some rocket pods, a big old Vulcan cannon on the front, which is really useful for killing things. But yeah, this was a very long flight. It's very slow, but it's relatively effective and very easily deployable, especially from ships, and I think it's probably easier to land than a VTOL, so, you know, it's got that going for it. And you can see all the tail and stuff are red in the tape colours. The Territorial Arctic Protection Entente. Annoyingly, that helicopter engine burns fuel in a stupid way. So, yeah, slowly becomes more tail-heavy, I think, but I'll just keep transferring fuel. And it's got a proper helicopter tail plane at the back, which is pretty effective. I think Firespitter does these quite well. So, yeah. Anyway, it's just a matter of flying over to Twitchi's base and launching the assault. Right, so I cut through it because you don't want to see that. Yeah, it's nightfall at this point. That's how long it took. Anyway, the physics, I accidentally set the physics too high there. But yeah, it's just a matter of, well, you know, flying in and deploying some Hellfire missiles, and you know, just generally taking this base. And I haven't taken an enemy base yet, so I can take this. And I don't have a turret to put out here, so I'm pretty much just gonna hope that this doesn't get attacked, because I kind of want to keep my helicopter and my well, more fairly standard pilots, as I've said. I'm just using, you know, standard pilots now. We've got some aces in some places, but not in this warband. As I've explained the new structure of the Territorial Arctic, well, not the new structure, the old structure. It's always been just a warband of, you know, people. So yeah, anyway, we're almost in range. I think we actually are in range at this point. I was trying to switch just to make sure that it was all set up properly, but it probably is, and it does launch a missile at me in a little bit, so yeah. Anyway, that's my first Hellfire away. I thought I'd be fairly, not too crazy with these. There goes another one. Just want to try and, you know, take it down. And there we go, it's launched a missile now. I think I'm about 6 kilometers away at this point. I can't really tell. The post-production screen, as I've said many a time, is kind of sucky. Anyway, I'll just deploy the rest of my missiles at this point, because I just, yeah, want to get them away. And I think the turret just took down 2 of mine. Oh, that sucks. I am not sure those were explosions, but I think it actually just did nail like 2 missiles. Wow, that's impressive. Anyway, I think the other one just hit there, and I'm actually trying. You can see here I'm trying to shoot down some missiles, but they were actually my missiles, and you can see the like hail of gunfire being fired by the turret there. I don't think it got any more, so that's good. Anyway, that is now super dead. So yeah, this is ours. So we've had a very productive episode. We've taken back the KSC-2, we've hit Penguin, if only a little bit, and we've hit Twitchi, which was probably better because, well, Penguin didn't want me to hit Twitchi, and this will strain Twitchi and strain his alliance with Penguin, because Penguin's not trying hard enough to stop me from, you know, decimating Twitchi. And with Agonarch unable to be fought off by Penguin, he'll, well, soon buckle, and we will win the war and, you know, walk gloriously through all of these lands, and they will be ours and things, and yeah. But anyway, now the helicopter is down on the ground, relatively easy landing, just a matter of putting down the flag, all at 4 times time accelerate, obviously, and putting down the tape flag, and then getting back in the helicopter and saying, this has been KSP with Tape. I will see you next time.